We can tell you right now as we come back that the Commanders now have the green light to build their new stadium on the old RFK site. This comes on a day when there were some last-minute demands that threatened to put this whole deal in jeopardy. But the council has passed this. They are moving it forward. This, of course, would be at the old RFK site, which is on the banks of the Anacostia River, 180 acres, huge plot of land for the city, a whole lot of debate within the community, within the council, and of course, with fans and Commanders all hoping that this would move forward. Let's check in right now with Rafael Sanchez Cruz, who's been covering this and listening and reporting on this all day. Was it eventful?
Yeah, Les, look, we saw 11-2, so that means that only 2 council members voted no against approving this deal to move forward. We're talking about a historic deal for Washington, D.C. Those 2 council members were at-large council member Robert White as well as Brianne Nadeau. Both of them had also voted no during the first time around. A surprise to many, I even heard a little some gasp and some people say what, was when Ward 3 council member Matt Fruman decided to vote in favor of this. It's also the first time that Ward 8 council member Trayon White had a say on the RFK deal, and he voted to move this forward. So it's a pretty big deal right now. Some of the fans are celebrating out here. We're seeing a lot of moving around. It's been a very long day, but it's also important to note that these amendments that were being introduced at the last minute, the majority were rejected by the DC Council. A lot of concern regarding the Commanders potentially ending the deal with these last minute demands that were being introduced. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of these demands concerning some hot button issues. The primary one is what the DC Council kept calling accountability. Accountability on when the Commanders will deliver on the mixed use parcels included in this project. These are the parcels that include the 6,000 housing units as well as the commercial space. I spoke to council member Matt Fruman before this. He says, look, this is really where the money is coming for DC when we talk about this mixed use space. So that's why they were really pushing forward to really have stricter penalties for the Washington Commanders just in case this doesn't happen. Now, a couple of amendments were struck down regarding this issue, but again, we're seeing primarily this concern that the Commanders might back out because of these last minute demands. We heard several of the members inside there kind of thanking everyone who was a part of this process. It seems like we've been talking about it for forever, but it really moved fairly quickly, and that was also one of the largest concerns as we were talking about the RFK Stadium site. We did speak to the mayor's office just a couple seconds ago before coming on air. They say they expect her to have some kind of statement coming up in the next couple minutes or at some point tonight. But again, a lot of excitement. A lot of people also here I want to mention is a lot of native Washingtonians showing up today and saying, look, I want the Commanders to come back. I want to see something at the old RFK Stadium site, but I also want to hold the Commanders accountable as a fan. They're saying they want to see the investments into the community that they have promised, and they're saying they're going to hold them to it. Now, a lot of the concerns regarding some of the community input that they've received, what the council members are saying is, look, let's get this deal done, and we are expecting to break ground by 2026 and the stadium to open by 2030. We still have plenty of time to make some changes. Now, another one of those deadlines was potentially 2050. By 2050 and 2053, they're like, look, we have plenty of time to address some of these issues, specifically if the Commanders don't deliver on these developments. So they're basically saying, let's move forward and we'll cross that bridge once we get there. But it seems like they're really trying to push this so that the Commanders can break ground. We've already seen some of the tear down that's happening at the stadium site. That's taken a lot of residents there by surprise to see what it physically looks like. But again, a historic day. And as we've heard the mayor touting over and over again, this is the largest private investment in DC's history. I'm live at the Wilson Building. Les, back to you.
Big day, Rafa, of course, with this announcement and this moving forward. Washington is set to return to its spiritual home at the old RFK site. That's a lot to take in. We'll be right back.